I'm Stuart Bloor and this is the 5th video in the series on winter fishing. In this particular one I'm back after pike. I'm on a lake in Shropshire. It's a club water. I have fished there before. I've done a few sessions, not many, just a few, but I've never blanked. So that makes me quite hopeful for this particular video. How do I get on? Let's have a look and find out. As you saw there, I've got the beginnings of a take, and those beginnings have developed and the float's moving across the water, and I'm ready to strike any moment now. It's important to get it right. Too soon you pull out the fish, but the last thing you want is to have a deep hooked one. So the timing is crucial. Right, the moment of decision. Here we go. Strike and fish on. Oh, yes. It reacted against that. It's coming. Got my net already in the water. So all I need to do is just to lift the fish over it, and then the net gets it. There you go. There it is. It's now ready to go back. Excellent. It's always great to get off the mark, and that's particularly pleasing for me because when I arrived and I put the thermometer in the water, it's one of the first things I do, particularly in winter. The water temperature was 4.8. Now we are in a relatively mild spell at the moment, and most of the venues that I'm fishing are a couple of degrees at least higher than that, and that's why we have to take each venue into its own personal account, because this particular one, it's a shallow pool, and on 3 sides it's got quite high banks with high trees as well, and on the bank that I'm fishing now a few high trees as well, so consequently this time of the year it doesn't get a lot of sun, hence the reason that it's a few degrees lower. And that's why we have to be realistic as well. Whenever we go somewhere, it's no good thinking, oh, mild spell, the water temperature is automatically high, because it isn't necessarily so, because of the factors involved. And that's why it's always good to get to know your venue, get to know your place. I know rivers that in the winter are consistently, the River Stour, the West Midlands Stour that I fish, consistently a few degrees higher than the River Severn, and those little bits of inside knowledge, if you like, they help to give us the edge. But as far as today's concerned, with the temperature as it is, I'm more than happy to have banked that fish. As you saw there, my unhooking mat and some side cutters and forceps. That's so important. If you decide to go pike fishing, you're not experienced, you've never done any pike fishing before, it's so important to do your research and also to get the proper equipment. You sometimes hear people say, I'll have a go at pike fishing. Now of course I know what they're saying, well hopefully anyway, but it's not really the sort of fishing that you just have a go at. You have to do a lot of homework. Pike look ferocious, but in effect they're actually quite sensitive, and the very fact that we are fishing with treble hooks and there is a possibility of deep hooking, we need to know what we're doing. A lot of anglers are not confident to tackle a pike. The thought of putting their mouth inside their hand inside a pike's mouth, it's not lion taming, put their hand inside a pike's mouth really terrifies them. And if that's you, then it's important to perhaps go with someone who is already an experienced pike angler. Let them show you the ropes. Once you get into it, it'll become quite easy because your confidence will grow. But initially, it's not the sort of thing that we just have a go at. We need to do our own work, we need the right sort of gear, and we need to be confident and know what we're doing. But if that's you and you've gone through that and you're already an experienced piker, then like me, I'm sure that you really enjoy your predator fishing at this time of the year. I've got another run on the same rod as before, so that's obviously in a decent spot. Hiker patrolling up and down. So there's been a fair amount of time since I had the last one. Well, I'm letting that develop a little bit, and then I will strike. Okay, here we go. Oh, no, it's on. I thought I pulled out. Oh, it's on. It's not as big as the last fish, but they're all very, very welcome. The first one was on a sardine head section. This one, a sardine tail. Anyway, it's coming to the net now. It's putting up a little bit of resistance, but I'm in control. Going back. It's all action this morning. I've just pulled out of a third fish. That was on the other rod, so I got something on that one for a change. The float, a little bit of movement, but it went straight off, disappeared. I struck into it, but nothing there. That's how it is sometimes with pike, and I can't stress enough that it's better to pull out of a fish than it is to have one that's deep hooked. Now, I occasionally get a deep hooked fish, but I've got the right gear to deal with it. I've got the confidence and the experience, so I don't have any issues. But if you're not familiar with pike, if you are a little bit frightened of them, the last thing you want to do is to have treble hooks going deep down into the fish's stomach. So, particularly when you first start pike fishing, pull out of them. It's not an issue. You'll then start to get an idea of the right time to strike. It's better to pull out. Can't emphasize that enough, can't stress that enough. It's better to pull out than it is to have a deep hooked fish. On the topic of pike beginners and people setting out to fish for them for the first time, I always make my own traces. I always have done. And the thing is, they've never let me down. But if you're thinking of doing pike fishing and you're exploring the idea of getting into it, I would say it's a good idea really to buy your traces to start with. When I first started pike fishing many years ago, you couldn't buy traces. Now you can. And I think it's a good idea to get hold of some. And then if you get more confident and you feel like making your own stuff, then of course you can. But the last thing you want to do is for the crimp to give way and the hooks to be left inside the pike and it's stuck out there. It really isn't a nice thing to want to happen, is it? So my advice to anyone thinking of doing pike fishing, amongst other things of course, is to perhaps buy your own traces, at least to start with. Got my fourth run of the day, and hopefully this will be my third fish. I'm ready to strike now. Well, I haven't pulled out of it anyway. It's still on. Oh, I pulled out. That's what they've been going for anyway. Sardines. Never mind. At least I've had two on the bank. As you can no doubt hear on this video, I've got a busy main road behind me. I've had 4 runs so far and 3 of them have come off the one rod. Now that is not a coincidence. One of the things we have to do whenever we fish somewhere is to find out what's going on beneath the surface of the water, because although water is flat on the surface, obviously beneath it there are features, and what I've got in front of me, it's not as pronounced as some of the gravel pits that I fish, but what I have got out there is a drop off. You can see the shallows in the margins, they go out some distance and then it drops off. It's not sharp, like I say, but it's a definite drop off. And the rod that I've had 3 runs on so far have come from just off the drop off, whereas the other one I decided to put that out a little bit further, more into open water, and I've only had the 1 run so far. And that's not a coincidence, because the pike will patrol the drop off, because any food that gets into the water will collect at that particular point. So it will be a natural patrol route for pike. And there are several waters I fish that have a drop off, some of them more pronounced than the others, but they have a definite drop off, and I will take more pike from there than I will from anywhere else on the lake, whether it's into open water or other such features. So when we go somewhere, if we just cast out, what we're doing really is chuck it and chance it. And we need to put the odds into our favour, particularly in the winter when it can get quite tough. Well, with the water temperature at 4.8 this morning, I think I've done well so far to have 4 runs, albeit only 2 fish on the bank. But the day is still early, and I've got a few hours left yet to get another one. Well, I didn't get any more fish. I had 4 runs, landed 2. I'm quite happy with that. It's always better than a blank, isn't it? Certainly with the water temperature being quite low. Anyway, to end the video off, I hope you've enjoyed it, by the way. To end the video, I've got some photographs from this week. Going to do a couple more sessions as well. So how do I get on there? Well, you can read the article that goes with it. Each week I will do a video that you're watching right now, and there'll also be a short written blog as well, and you can find the link to that here on YouTube alongside the video. If you're out and about yourself, tight lines, have a great new year and catch plenty of fish.